Yes, finally, a good horror movie in 2022. Finally! The Black Phone. The Black Phone is the newest supernatural horror movie directed by Scott Derrickson, brought to us by Blumhouse Studios, stars Ethan Hawke. The movie officially comes out this Friday, tomorrow. I just got done watching the movie, and is this movie good? For a horror movie, it was good, and that's like all I could hope for. That's all. It's not without its problems, but I will say, like, as a movie and as a horror movie, I felt this was very effective. I was locked into the movie. The movie had me engaged. Had me asking the questions like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? What the fuck's going on? And then in this day and age, when it comes to horror movies, that's all I can know for. This is a horror movie that has good suspense. It's good suspense too. At first, it's sort of a slow burn, but it does have the good suspense where it's just like once the shit starts going and you're like locked in this basement with this kid and shit, you're trying to figure out like how he's gonna get out. You're like, oh, how would I get out of it? Then you're just like in the situation with the kid, and it just feels more engaging and pulls you in. Good stuff. That being said, look at the pros and cons. Well, I believe that The Black Phone is officially in theaters tomorrow. Well, tomorrow. You can watch it officially tomorrow everywhere in theaters. And I suggest if you like horror movies or you like good thriller movies, this is a good movie to check out. Here's why. For adding in the movie, there's like two main people were following this movie. First of all, we got the creeper kidnapper himself, Ethan Hawke. He was cool. I felt like he could have been played by anybody, but the fact that it is Ethan Hawke, and we saw how batshit crazy he can be in Moon Knight, it's like, it kind of lends himself to this movie to like, oh yeah, I know he can do crazy, and he does crazy pretty good in this movie. But I will say, like, as much as his face is on the poster, he's not like, he is the main antagonist, but he's not like, I guess, like, the main-ish character you're following this movie. It's really this kid. Mason Thames, he had to sell that shit. I don't know if he's in any other movies, but this kid, he was pretty good, pretty convincing. He was like the underdog. Like, we're just like rooting for him. You know, he's being bullied and stuff like that in school. And then when he gets kidnapped by this crazy lunatic with the clown mask and shit, he's trying to figure out like, okay, how am I going to get out of this situation and shit? He got to sell that. And you believe it. I was like, yeah, he's likable. I want to see him get out of the situation. Horror movies, they drop the ball on that. You should have a protagonist that you're just like, yeah, I want to root for this kid to get out. And yeah, well, no spoiler, but they did a good job on that. So the two main characters, they were great. Okay, plot in the movie, more or less, the movie takes place in the 70s, late 70s. So yeah, it's got that 70s vibe without it feeling like, oh, it's just the Goonies and shit. In this neighborhood in Denver and shit like that, there's been a string of missing kids, missing kidnappings and stuff like that. Like, kids are being picked up from the streets shit after school. And then you got Finney one day, him and his sister, they're just like, yeah, but they part ways, stuff like that. And he's just walking down the street, minds of business. And then this creeper, Ethan Hawke's just like, hey, you want to see a magic trick? Then you know he gets kidnapped and he's in this creeper basement and shit. It's just the basement with one door to get out, one window, nothing but dirty walls. It's just like, how the fuck am I gonna get out? And that's your movie, more or less. You're pretty much following Finney trying to get out of this basement, but Ethan Hawke's kidnapper crazy asshole is like trying to just keep him trapped in there and shit. So that's the movie. Okay, pros of the movie, like I said, the movie is very engaging in the sense that, like, once the kid gets kidnapped and he's just in this basement, it's just like, okay, well, how do I get out? And one of the interesting aspects in it is that there's this black phone. His name is Black Phone that rings every so often, and the element with the Black Phone is interesting because that's playing the supernatural aspect. You're kind of just like, at first you're like, is he going crazy? Like, how is this really working? The movie's all done, and then it gets explained. You're like, okay, that makes perfect sense, and now my brain doesn't freak out anymore. The Black Phone element in the movie, how it incorporates into the plot and Vinny to get out and shit, that was a pretty good shit, and I did like that. That was effective. Because you didn't get it all like in like one big lump. It was like breadcrumbs, like, okay, do this. That didn't work. Try this. Didn't work. Try that. Didn't work. Then it's kind of like, when you put it all together, you're like, okay, it all makes sense. Yes, I like that. And as far as the horror in the movie goes, the horror was actually good too, because there were moments it was like, yeah, when it had a horror moment, it worked, and it wasn't a jump scare. Thank God. No jump scares in the movie. There's stuff that might feel like a jump scare, but it was like relevant to the scene, if you know what I mean. It wasn't just for the sake of like, oh, cat jumped in front of the screen. That's it. You know, make that bomb sound. It was the cat. That was not in the movie, thank God. Like I said in the movie, the fact that I will say, okay, some of the characters, idiots, dumb, but that's kind of horror movie 101 at this point. Like I'll say the cops in this movie, but cops in every horror movie are just terrible because, like I said, the little girl blows the whole lid off this whole thing, and the cops are just like, well, I mean, I guess she's right, maybe. Shit could have went south if they just not believe her. So it's kind of like, Can't take a leap of faith on that. At the end of the day, Black Phone was an enjoyable supernatural horror movie, a good suspense thriller movie. I had a great time with it. Ethan Hawke kills it in the role as kidnapper crazy dude. Mason Thames was also good in the movie too as our underdog. We're trying to see him get out of the situation. I had a good time watching him do that. A movie that I feel like if you watch with a group of people, I think you all will kind of like have fun with this movie in the good way. And that's how it should be, especially with a horror movie. That being said, I easily want to say that the Black Phone is definitely a good 8 out of 10, which is definitely worth seeing that full admission. You're going to see Black Phones in theaters tomorrow. Check it out. Don't check it out, but definitely check it out because it's a good film. All right, below, let me know what to talk about. I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, subscribe. Until next time.